Hey, it's Joe Amoya, founder and creator of GPSforlove.com. I wanted to create a video for you today that gives you some great insight into the male species. Because if you're like most single women who are watching this, you find us men like really confusing. Like we do some shit that just makes you want to pull your hair out, right? Well, I totally get it. Like to be honest, there is not a day that goes by where I don't receive an email. I don't receive a private message. Someone doesn't comment in our Facebook group saying this one phrase, Joe, I don't understand why. Well, there's a reason why you don't understand why. And one of the biggest reasons is that you're a woman. So you're looking through life through your filters, through your experience, through your belief systems, through your paradigms, right? So a lot of times the shit that guys do, it just doesn't make sense to you because that's not how you think and you wouldn't do those things. That's not who you are. And I completely get that. But I want you to understand that us men, we're simply different creatures. And we do things in a very different way a lot of the time. Now, the good news is once you understand how we operate, we're really not that difficult to figure out. In fact, everything we do, those things that drive you crazy, we do for one of three reasons. And that's why I wanted to create this video for you today. I want you to give you some insight so that you can stop pulling your hair out, so you can stop getting frustrated, so you can find out, okay, this is probably why he did it. Because the truth is, once you understand what these three reasons are, like you're a smart woman, you're going to be able to figure out, oh, you know what, it was this one, or you know what, no, it was this one, and it's going to give you the clarity, it's going to give you the certainty that you're looking for, and it's going to help you understand us men in a way that you never did before. So what I want to do is we're going to just jump right into it. So the first reason is that there are some guys who are just selfish. Now I know that's not some earth-shattering news, right? It's like, really, Joe? You're just telling me that? Like, have you seen the guys that I've dated lately? No, I get it. But what I want you to understand is that there are some guys, I call them the boys, they're just selfish. They're like literally boys. I have three boys. And when my kids were younger, especially my oldest, he was like, you know what I want when I want it. Now, that's cool when you're a 5-year-old boy, right? It's like, I just want that toy. I want that thing in the store and buy it for me. If I don't get it, I'm going to throw a little tantrum. And again, it's cool when you're 5, but when you're, 35, 45, 55, and you're still acting that way, like that's not kosher. And so you have to look at these guys in that way, that they're emotional boys, that they want what they want when they want it, and they don't care about anybody or anything. Now, here's the thing. Not all guys are like that, but there are a lot of guys like that. And so if you just understand that it was all about him, he didn't really care about me, then you know what? He's actually doing you a favor because he's showing you his true colors, right? And I know that's some of the problem is because in the beginning, they portray themselves to be a certain way, right? They portray themselves to be generous, nice, benevolent, all that good stuff, caring, kind, compassionate, right? Until they get what they want, and then they kind of change their behavior, right? But again, you have to know this as a woman. If you're, 15 and you've never experienced, men before, that's going to be new to you. But, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, it's like this shouldn't be, news to you. You should kind of know this, and should kind of be able to see it. So you need to understand that there are just some guys out there who are emotional boys. They're just selfish, where it's all about them, right? The second reason is that some of these guys, they just don't want to hurt you, right? And I know that they're hurting you more by not being honest, but let me ask you this question. Have you ever had a friend or family member ask you to come over and, or maybe somebody invited you to a party, or somebody asked you a question, what do you think? And you didn't tell them the truth, right? Because you knew if you were honest with them that they probably weren't going to like it and you're going to hurt them. And that was the last thing you wanted to do. Now, there's some guys who do that as well. Very often that's the context where you're dating somebody and he realizes that, you know what, I really don't want to be with you anymore. You're not the right woman for me. So instead of, having the gonads and the balls to be upfront honest with you and tell you that in a kind, caring, compassionate way, what he does is he starts to pull away, right? He starts to sugarcoat things. He starts making excuses. And you feel it. You know something's not right, but he's just not being honest with you because he doesn't want to hurt you. He's not a bad guy. He's actually a good guy because he's really caring about you. He doesn't want to hurt you. He just doesn't realize that he's not that he's hurting you more by not being honest. So that's the second reason. Now, the third reason, and this is the one that really gets confusing for you, because this is when you're dating a guy, you're in a relationship, everything's going well, and then all of a sudden he either like disappears or he starts to withdraw, or all of a sudden he says, you know what, I don't want to be in a relationship. I need some space. He comes up with some reason where you're just like, this doesn't make sense, because you were totally in. You were showing up in a certain way. You were being awesome, and now all of a sudden things have changed without anything major happening. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And you're right, it doesn't make sense when you look at it from a state of logic and you don't understand human behavior and you don't understand how most men go through this thing called life. Because the truth is, most men have been taught to talk about their feelings, to feel their feelings, to honor their feelings. And so what they do is they just kind of, suppress them. They avoid them. They don't deal with them. And so very often when a guy changes his behavior and you don't understand why, it's because he's got some kind of fear going on. There's something going on for him at the unconscious level that usually he's not even aware of. And so this is usually comes down to a fear of being hurt or a fear of rejection, right? Or it's a fear of commitment or a fear of marriage. And so, again, if he's not aware of that, he's going to start checking out, even though he said he wanted those things in the beginning. And that's where it's going to be frustrating. That's where it's not going to make sense for you. So I want you to go back and look at this, because anytime you ask the question, I don't understand why, I promise you it's going to be one of these three reasons. And if you're, and I know you're smart enough, if you really look at the guy that you're interacting with, that you're dating, that you're in a relationship with, it's going to be real clear which one of these three it is. Now, after you watch this, what I want you to do is I want you to send this to some of your single friends, or even your friends that are married or in relationships, okay? Because it's really important that you understand men and why they do the things that they do. Again, I've been a member of the male species for 5 decades now, and to be honest, I've done some of those things that drive you crazy. I'm not proud of it, but that's part of the evolution of a boy into a man. Is he realizes that, you know what, this isn't how you show up in the world. This isn't how you treat women. This isn't who you want to be. This isn't what being a man is really about. And that's the natural evolution process that most men are supposed to go through. But sadly, not every man does. And there's some guys who just never feel their feelings, never deal with them, have never been taught to, or just are too freaking selfish, and it's all about them. Either way, either of those guys are not good, healthy relationship partners. And I know it's hard to hear, but when they show up and do those crappy things that they do, they're actually doing you a favor, because they're showing you they're not the man that you were created to share your life with. So I hope this makes sense. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down below. I'll see you next time. Much love. Now, if you're at that point in your life where you're tired of being single, you want to find that special guy to share your life with, and you can't understand why you're having such a hard time finding him, I'd like to invite you to join our free Facebook group. It's a private group where women just like you are discovering the truth of what it really takes to attract a quality man and a love that lasts. Now, you're going to learn how to identify the real obstacles, especially those that are unconscious, those you're not even aware of, which are preventing you from finding the love that you're looking for. And you're also going to learn how you can turn your love life around, date successfully, and put yourself in position to find the type of man that your heart desires and deserves. Now, if that's something that sounds interesting to you, you can go to facebook.com/groups/find love that lasts. Or you can just click on the link below in the description of this video. I'll see you there.